Welcome. You're all waiting so patiently. We should get this thing going, right? Good evening and welcome to the 8th Annual Pitch Competition. My name is Amy Forbes and I'm the Director of the Centennial Center. We are delighted to share in this special event with you tonight. Our finalists have been working on their projects for more than 6 months and they are excited to pitch their ideas. I want to thank all of their family, friends, faculty, staff, and mentors who could be here to support them. Just as a reminder, if you could silence your cell phones, we do encourage you, however, to post live on social media using the hashtag #ThePitch2019. If you would, please tag us using hws.centennialcenter. You got that? Okay. These are exciting times at Hobart and William Smith, especially if you are interested in entrepreneurship. The Centennial Center has been a part of a movement on campus that seeks to bring transformative experiences and entrepreneurship to students who want to be for-profit and nonprofit leaders. The initiative is called Entrepreneurship at HWS, and it has aligned the academic curriculum of the Entrepreneur Studies minor, the co-curricular programs of the Centennial Center, and the collaborative hub at the newly established Bizzuto Center for Entrepreneurship. Together, these three partners will provide the critical skills, hands-on experiences, and dynamic spaces where students can learn the necessary components that bring about ideas. As it mentions in your program, our alums are really out supporting entrepreneurship at HWS. Alums like Michael, class of 59, and Ellen, class of 60, Opel, have launched the Opel Family Challenge to raise funds for co-curricular entrepreneurship programs at HWS. They will provide a 50% match for donations up to $162,000 to establish the HWS Student Entrepreneurship Fund. This $486,000 endowed fund will provide financial support for current and future co-curricular programs and student initiatives. We'd like to really thank Michael and Ellen. To bring 8 years of the pitch competition has largely been a community effort that has included students, faculty, staff, alums, parents, and local entrepreneurs. First, we need faculty and staff to encourage students to put in their proposals describing products and services. Then we need faculty and staff, along with these local entrepreneurs, to sit on our selection committee to review proposals and determine who is going to make the first and second round. We had our highest number of proposals to date, 24, this year, so we'd like to thank those many individuals that guided students to submit a proposal, as well as those who worked with us to review them. We are grateful beyond measure. One of the most compelling components of the pitch contest is the second round where semifinalists are matched with an alum mentor. These individuals counsel and coach students as they work to move their ideas from theory to practice. I know several mentors are at home watching on the live stream in the back. If you would, to all of you, we want to say thank you. We are deeply appreciative of our efforts with our students. And now I'm going to introduce a really important group of alums, this year's judges. To my right, we have Eric Kohler, renowned interior designer from New York City. Caroline Galdabini, head of marketing at Citi Private Bank, North America. Michael Rollins, principal user experience design architect at the Walt Disney Company. And Phil Yonman, president at the Cooley Group in Rochester, New York. Collectively, they bring incredible experiences in technology, finance, design, and business. We've asked this impressive group to listen to each pitch and then to aim questions at our finalists designed to learn more about their plans for their ideas. At the end of the pitch presentations, our judges will select one winner who will earn a $10,000 grant to put towards their venture. Judges, thank you so much for being here and for taking on this important task. And finally, I'd like us to give a big hand to our 4 finalist teams. It takes a lot of courage, effort, and resiliency to make it this far in the pitch competition. Tyler, Lex, Mike, Garrett, and Maxime, the Centennial Center is so proud of you. Congratulations to you all. To introduce these finalists, please welcome my colleague Ed Bazzari, the Margoloff Family Entrepreneurial Fellow.
Okay, this is a lot of people here, all right? This is really good, celebrating what's happening here. Thanks, Amy. Okay, before we begin, let me just give you a kind of a preview how we got here tonight, okay? This fall, as Amy said, we sent out pitch proposals. We received our largest response to date with 24 proposals. We told students basically to describe ideas for products, services, or organizations. They could be nonprofit or for-profit. And then our selection committee ended up choosing 10 semifinalists that we matched with mentors in our alum network. That is one of the most appreciated things of the students that are in the pitch, to be aligned with those mentors. And that's to help refine the ideas. So after receiving the second round of proposals from the 10 semifinalists, the selection committee narrowed that down to the 4 finalists that you see here tonight. Okay, they have withstood 2 rigorous rounds of the written proposals, where the written proposal was emphasized. And for the last month, they've really been going through a pitch boot camp with us in the Centennial Center, where they had to shift their idea from a written proposal to a compelling pitch presentation. Okay, so the audience should know that the judges are looking at 4 leadership criteria. Okay, the presentation, innovativeness, viability, and significance and impact. Okay, each finalist will have 8 minutes of uninterrupted time to pitch their idea, and after each presentation, our judges will have several minutes for Q&A with the team. Okay. Once all 4 finalists have finished, our judges will be excused to deliberate, and our audience can enjoy desserts and a brief intermission. Now, cool part of the night, after intermission, we will have a flash pitch competition where 4 contestants up here in the front will have 90 seconds each to pitch an idea, and our audience, using your mobile device, will vote for the winner. Okay? So following the flash pitches, our judges will let you know which finalist will earn the $10,000 pitch grant. Okay, so it's go time, all right? We're ready for the pitch presentations, okay? All right, to start us off this evening, I'd like to invite to the stage our first finalist. This is junior Tyler Andre. Tyler is a computer science major and entrepreneurial studies minor. He worked closely with pitch mentor Bob Schmidt, Hobart grad of 1965, which is sitting right here to my right. And he's the CEO of Visual Face Recognition. Without any further delay, won't you please welcome Tyler, creator of Sense.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tyler Andre, and growing up, I used to absolutely love playing Guitar Hero. Not only did this influence me playing the guitar, but I became more and more fascinated by electronics and audio. As I began studying computer science here at HWS, I gained knowledge that allowed me to begin merging my passions for music and technology. That's when I developed Sense, a digital alternative to the guitar's tremolo system. Now, tremolos are very easy to understand. A series of components place tension on the bridge, which allows players to increase or decrease the pitch of the notes being played. The bridge is embedded into the guitar and utilizes a metal arm to regulate the amount of effect. Legendary players such as Eddie Van Halen and Jimi Hendrix have utilized this tool to completely revolutionize guitar playing. Although the tremolo has made its mark, manufacturers have failed to address their flaws. First, tremolos stretch and loosen the strings, resulting in an out-of-tune guitar. This is a liability for live performers who rely on their guitars staying in tune. Reliable systems can cost upwards of $600, and for that same price, a consumer could purchase a new guitar, amplifier, or a series of effects. Most importantly, traditional systems cannot be installed and played on just any electric guitar, which leaves players with non-tremolo design guitars completely out of luck. It's been nearly 49 years since the tremolo has seen any significant design improvements. Modern technology has allowed the music industry to develop extremely sophisticated recording equipment. Without the same modifications to traditional technology, the guitar faces a struggle to remain relevant. Therefore, it is extremely essential that the guitar finds these ways to evolve in order to keep guitarists and consumers interested. Sense not only eliminates these flaws, but it's more affordable and extremely reliable. Activated strictly through hand motion, no physical interactions with Sense is needed for its use. The device itself is placed anywhere underneath the strings and in between the guitar's two pickups. It is easy to use and simple to set up, but most importantly, it can be used with any 6-string electric guitar. Now, when a player triggers Sense's effect, they'll move their hand a short distance away from the strings. This will allow Sense to recognize when it should begin producing its effect. Once a note has been played, its analog signal is converted into a digital signal, making it much easier to work with. This new signal is then fed through a program which utilizes data outputs from the sensors. Once the final signal has been successfully modified, it is reconverted into an analog signal and sent back out to your amplifier or pedal board. So who are the consumers that Sense benefits most? They're beginners, effect enthusiasts, and bedroom players. Not only are these the majority of guitarists, but they're the future of the guitar and the advanced players of tomorrow. As a guitar player myself, Sense has been designed with and for the average player in mind. With nearly 16 million guitar players in the United States, Sense hopes to reach the guitars of just 10% of these players. These are the consumers that Sense finds most beneficial to its success. Social media outlets such as Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube will provide direct access to consumers. This will also allow Sense to develop a close community from which players can use to develop new product ideas and to generate feedback. Once Sense is ready for its release and a utility patent has been filed, business-to-business operations through mutual license agreements will begin. This allows guitar and effects companies such as Gibson, Fender, and Electro Harmonix to implement Sense's technology into their own products. Although one of a kind, Sense is not in an empty market. Traditional tremolo manufacturers such as Floyd Rose, Bigsby, and Hipshot are Sense's main competitors. Compared to their products, Sense provides a much more cost-efficient and accurate way to achieve the classic whammy tone. Virtual Jeff, a digital tremolo alternative, is Sense's most relevant competitor. Both expensive and limited, Virtual Jeff fails to provide the same sense of affordability and accurate tone that Sense offers to its consumers. Sense will begin the physical development as soon as possible, and a prototype will be developed within the first 6 months. Once a stable prototype has been developed, it's essential that a utility patent be applied for and filed. This process will take an additional 21 months. During this process, Sense will continue to be developed to better ready it for its release. By the end of the first year and a half, Sense will be introduced into the market for consumers and players to enjoy. Following this timeline will allow Sense to reach 1,000 units sold by the end of its second year. This is also when Sense will become profitable. During the first year and a half, operations will be focused strictly on product development. Per unit cost will start at $35, and Sense will retail to consumers for $90. Costs will decrease as Sense finds more and more consumers. It is predicted that 500 to 1,000 units will be sold by the end of its second year. This will produce upwards of $45,000 in net revenue. Lastly, my experiences with electronics, programming, and web development greatly reduces the need to outsource during this initial year and a half. This further lowers startup operating costs. Now, the $10,000 will be used to acquire materials, equipment, and research and development. This will include electrical components, 3D printers, and the NAMM show. Every year, the guitar world comes together to celebrate NAMM, or the National Association for Music Merchants. It is here that the industry's top competitors showcase new products, concepts, and ideas. Attending such an event will allow Sense to develop efficient marketing strategies, as well as develop and provide opportunities for relevant market connections. I would now like to finally thank HWS for supporting such an amazing competition. Providing this opportunity has allowed me to truly realize and appreciate the amount of time that goes into developing a startup. I would also like to thank everyone involved with the Centennial Center for helping me condense and organize my ideas into their best possible forms. Lastly, I would like to thank my mentor, Mr. Bob Schmidt, for helping me improve my financials and overall development process. The first time I ever picked up and played a guitar completely changed my life. The patience and persistence that playing the guitar taught me fueled my desire to continue playing and learning. As a current junior here at the colleges, I'm extremely excited to see where my journey with Sense takes me. And I'm even more excited to spend the summer and my senior year developing Sense from the ground up. Sense intends to influence young, inexperienced, and future guitarists, and even the young, hopeful Guitar Hero lover as I once used to be. Thank you for your time.
So I want to commend you on a wonderful presentation. I was compelled when I read your proposal about a couple of things that were connected to your computer science background. So help me understand the difference between maybe deploying this off of an iPad, particularly for the beginners, thinking about the sensors, thinking about some of the hardware and software costs that you're going to really engage in.
So specifically the type of costs that I will encounter over the development. So my predicted startup cost is just over about $4,100. And of course that will go towards everything I really need to develop the electrical circuits that I need, the housing that Sense will fit in, along with the research and development by physically being able to go to NAMM. This startup cost might seem a little low. However, I recognize that startups usually fail by not spending their money in the right place. So this cost is low because I'm also taking into account much larger purchases later on. However, the overall development process, I've been developing it for about 1.5 years, and I have a lot of schematics and plans for it. But I think of it as just like a puzzle. You know the picture that the puzzle will come together to form, but it's really your job to grab the individual pieces and really find a way in which it comes together to form the picture that you imagine it to look.
Just a quick follow-up. So why not develop this on an iPad? Why not use that technology that's already there?
So if I were to develop this on an iPad, it would be very difficult for players to really use it. The reason tremolos have been so successful is because players have they don't have to move very far to get to the effect. And if I were to develop this for an iPad, it would completely really eliminate the compactability that I really wanted to design it for. And it would really also limit how it can be used. Because if it were produced on an iPad, you can't stick an iPad really on a guitar. It's, the whole point of it is for it to be easy to use, completely out of the way, but at the same time sound exactly like the competitors that it's trying to beat.
Thanks. So great presentation. I thought that it was very, very well done. Better than I've seen many adults do. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So I have a question around your marketing efforts.
Yep.
You talked in your presentation about going to the National Association of Music Merchants.
Yes.
To showcase this product, as well as social media here in your presentation.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about your use of social media and how you will attract consumers through that? Are you going to rely strictly on your own social media platform, or what's your plan there?
Well, so for my generation especially, social media has been such a large player in a lot of, small and large businesses. Pretty much every large business has some type of media account on Instagram in which people can, use to, view their products or development process. And that stays exactly the same with guitar effects. A lot of times, YouTube and Instagram are quite popular for displaying these types of effects. And in my personal experience, all of the products that I've been drawn to and have purchased, I've first seen on social media. So a combination of that, as well as the NAMM show, which has gotten a lot of small businesses and just, very basic ideas completely up and running within the next 2 years, making amazing sales. That is definitely going to be the Kickstarter. And I believe that after that, getting the name and the product out to both the vendors and the attendees of the event will allow the social media outlets to really take off. And I believe that the social media that we have today is a perfect outlet to get to younger people who Sense is immediately designed and produced for.
Thank you.
I have a question for you. How will the younger users engage with the product? Like, who will teach them how to use it, or is it going to just be so self-explanatory that they just start playing and it starts working? Or do they have to have their guitar teacher show them?
Yeah, so the whole point of Sense is to be as easy to use as possible. If I'm going to create an alternative for a pre-existing, product that people have used for the past 60 plus years, it's got to be carried out in a way that's similar to the old methods. And so the way I look at it is it's strictly hand movement. And so I look at it as if you can play the air guitar in some way, then you can play Sense. It has no learning curve. It's just about moving your hand back and forth, similar to how a regular tremolo would. So I designed it for the average player, knowing that they don't know exactly what professionals know. How much should I move the bar up or down to produce the effect I want? I designed it to be so simplistic that anyone can install it and immediately begin playing and get the same accurate tone as classic whammy bars have been able to produce for players.
Thank you. Very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I thought that was outstanding. And, I just had dinner with this guy and he was a little nervous. So there's a lot of composure up there right now. It's awesome.
He's right.
So congrats to you. My one question is the whammy bar in at least rock and roll music has been around, as you said, for almost 50 years.
Yes.
And you got some big name competitors up on your slide that have been in the business for a long time. Any insights in your research as to why none of these other competitors perhaps have developed something along the lines of your concept to date? And if so, why haven't they? And then I guess the secondary part of that is sort of your level of confidence that you can actually develop the product as you move into the build out to really meet the requirements that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So the way I look at it is the traditional tremolo has worked for 50 plus years, which is absolutely outstanding. And a lot of times I believe that these companies look at their product and say, well, if people don't think it's broke, don't fix it. However, there has been a large movement around the concern that the guitar is going to become too technologically advanced, and there's a large crowd of real, classic guitar lovers that really don't like the idea of the guitar finding all this new technology and straying from what they grew up knowing. But in response to that, less and less guitar players are starting to play the guitar. And as we can see from popular music now, You don't hear, of many popular rock or metal bands really making a name for themselves or having significant impact. So I believe that, this classic movement, I'm a classical guitarist, I love the classic guitar, but in order for it to continue to thrive, it needs to be pushed forward and given that extra boost in order to really, make sure it doesn't fall off. And then to address the second part of your question, for the longest time, I've looked for a way to mix my love for music and computer science together. And so Sense has really allowed me to do so. And so I look at how passionate I am about the idea and what I'm currently doing. And I know that, I might run into an issue here and there, but I believe in my ability to produce the visions that I've been, dreaming of for the past 2 years. And I know that from what I've learned so far here at the colleges, that I've been given enough information to really know how to carry out the development of the product.
Great, thanks. Great job.
Thank you.
Now that Tyler's roadies are off stage, we can continue. Okay, great job, Tyler. Really great job at kicking off the night here. Okay, our second finalist is sophomore Alexandria Nipper. Lex is a Media and Society and Hispanic Studies major and an Entrepreneurial Studies minor. For her project, she was paired with pitch mentor Matt Enstice, a Hobart 95 grad, who is the president and CEO of the Buffalo Niagara Medical Campus. Lex is the founder of Yuva. And so won't you join me in welcoming Lex here to the stage to present Yuva.
Hi, I'm Alexandria Nipper, and I want to address a major hardship that is faced by cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers. Tonight, there are roughly 300 of you in this room, and according to the American Cancer Society, 100 of you will be diagnosed with cancer in your lifetime. That statistic is startling, isn't it? Well, unfortunately, I've had firsthand experience with this. During my first year at HWS, my father Paul was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. In March of 2018, it had spread to his liver, and he had lost his courageous battle on December 18th of 2018, about 3 months ago. One thing I remember repeatedly with my family, as well as my father and I, is that a lot of the time we felt alone. We were getting amazing support from friends and family, but no one who was going through exactly what we were and who could feel our pain and frustration. And while all this was happening with my father, I was a full-time student at the colleges, but instead of going back to my dorm after studying in the library, I would go home to be with my mother and sister and be my father's caregiver. The entire time my father was fighting this disease, I had always wondered if there was a person out in the world like me who was a full-time student and had a parent fighting cancer. And that's when I decided to create Yuva. Yuva is an online cancer connection community where we strategically connect cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers with one another through a unique identification matching algorithm. We eliminate the hardship of having to attend support services for those who can't drive or don't have the time or ability to access support groups. Here's how Yuva works. When you first enter our service, you'll be asked to create a profile. Then you'll start answering questions to begin finding your match. This matching algorithm is based off of hundreds of hours of interviewing over 130 cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers. When I asked them about some of the questions that they would want to be answering, these are what had come to mind. There are 15 critical questions that we ask on our service, but tonight, I'm going to discuss with you the 7 most important. We first want to know your location. This helps us find a match that's relatively close to you. We then want to know the role that you have with the disease. Depending on whether you are a patient, survivor, or caregiver, we'll ask you the type of cancer and the stage that it is at. Your birthday is important to us because we want matches to be similar in age. This is a prominent request that we had received. Your religious beliefs are important as well, so that we are aware of how religiously inclined you are or not. And the amount of support that you have gotten is critical as well, so that we can base matches off of how much support they have previously received. All of these questions provide UVA with the similar match that they're looking for. Once you have answered these questions, we'll find you a match, and then you'll be brought to a private chat room to start conversing. We understand the nuances that go into these particular relationships, so we've created an algorithm that matches people based on similar characteristics. My interviewees had expressed how lonely they were, and by creating this service, we're providing them with the support that they wish they had. With UVA, you can mix chatting with however many cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers you would like. The market size for cancer is incredibly large and is unfortunately continuing to grow. In 2020, a projected 1.9 million people will be diagnosed with cancer in the US, and approximately 630 people will lose their lives to cancer. It is unfortunate to say that cancer will continue to be a leading killer in the years to come. Throughout my research, I have gathered that less than a quarter of interviewees have been getting support either from local support groups within their community or regional Facebook groups. If this finding is applied nationally, this would then mean that 374,000 people pass away without support. Many of these reasons are due to a lack of safe transportation or a high risk of infection. UVA eliminates these factors and allows anyone with internet access to establish a support system. Here's how will we share UVA? We're going to license it. Our business model is a nonprofit generating income from two sources: revenue from grants and donations, as well as income from licensing UVA to cancer centers. I have recently reached out to 10 of the 49 comprehensive cancer centers, and they all said that they would be interested in learning about UVA. We will now license our software to cancer centers in the US, such as Memorial Sloan Kettering, Dana-Farber, and Roswell Park Cancer Institute. Now, you may be wondering if there's already a service out there like ours. Our main competitors are Facebook groups that focus individually on the type of cancer. And another competitor is the GRIT app, which has a matching algorithm but focuses on the patient and caregiver, not on the survivor. Facebook groups don't have intricate questions that allow people to have similar matches. And with UVA, you can mix chatting with patients, survivors, and caregivers because we don't want anyone to feel left out. Now let's get to the question that most people have about nonprofits. How are we going to remain sustainable? To cover UVA's expenses in year one, we are going to need approximately $250,000. We will use the $10,000 from the pitch to jumpstart our campaign, and then we'll use the remaining $240,000 that we will gather through grants and donations. With just $250,000, we can provide support to users for just less than $1 per user per year. UVA began in 2017 after I learned my father was diagnosed. We participated in customer discovery in March of 2018, where we conducted interviews with potential users. Over this past summer, we were part of the 2018 Summer Sandbox program, where we further developed our research. In November of 2018, I partnered with a Hobart computer science major who created a prototype, which now serves as my minimum viable product. And in the summer of 2019, we will have a small beta version created. With the $10,000 from the pitch, this will contribute towards our service that will be up and running by June of 2020. My job day to day is to raise funds to ensure that UVA is a free service because we believe that no one should have to pay for support. I had made a promise to my father moments before he passed to pursue UVA. It was this promise, along with our experience, that led me to create this service, to ensure that no one had to go through this alone like I did. With today's technology, there is no reason why we cannot provide support for cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers. The $10,000 will ensure me that anyone that's diagnosed with this disease will get the proper support that they deserve. Everybody manages grief differently. What it has done for me is it has committed me towards this service. To see Yuva come to life will be personally fulfilling, not because it will help me, but because it will help others like me get the support that they need and deserve. Thank you.
Wow. That was amazing. When I read your proposal, it really resonated with me. The social responsibility component, your story, it tells me a lot about something that as you go through the journey of standing up this capability, that you're going to stick to it. You're going to either fail fast and learn from those mistakes, and then just keep pushing along. So I really commend you for what you've done and how you've presented. So my simple question to you is, in your licensing strategy, there are a lot of insurance companies. I'll refer to them more as health services companies, the United, the Cignas, the Aetnas of the world, that have nurse consulting, they have wellness programs, they have a ridiculous amount of money. They already have, from a social responsibility standpoint, a lot of the compliance rules, the things that are around gaining loyalty and trust from different demographics, to be able to talk, to use, to talk about a lot of different things. I see this right now, and I'd love to hear your insight on, I see this as something that can be addressed for cancer, but I see a lot of other traumatic or terminal issues that this particular convention could really solve. So help us understand, have you looked at the insurance companies at all as being not only a funding source, but really a vehicle?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have not looked into insurance companies. However, we are going to be doing research on that further as soon as we get, while we get Yuva up and running by June of 2020, there are going to be many factors that are going to pertain to that. And working with insurance companies is one of the first steps that we're going to take, as well as making sure that not only if Yuva could help people with cancer in the future, but if it could help other people with terminal diseases, that would be amazing as well. And that is one of our main missions, is to help anyone that's affected by any cruel disease.
Thank you.
I have a question. The name Yuva,
Yes.
where did that come from?
So Yuva is the name of a person in my father's life who was very inspirational for him in the beginning of his journey with cancer, as well as throughout the end. So I figured.
An actual person?
Yes.
Right, because we were all talking about that and couldn't decide it was, first we thought, I thought University of Virginia, and I wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's a
but now I understand.
Yeah.
So someone that was really inspirational and helped
Yeah.
with your dad.
Yes.
That's great, congratulations, it's
Thank
very
you.
compelling. Thank you.
very much.
So, great job presenting. Successful entrepreneurship requires an unwavering passion and commitment to whatever it is you choose to do. That comes across in spades in your presentation and what you're trying to solve for. The other piece of that is it requires the right offering or product, or in this case, the algorithm and the software. And so I guess my question is, where are you exactly in the stage of that development? I know you're moving towards prototype, but maybe you can explain a little bit how you're going about building that algorithm in that capacity
Of course.
to
So-
sustain your passion.
Yeah, of course. So we have already created the prototype, which now serves as the minimum viable product for Yuva. And our first hire is going to be a developer. and then we're going to work with the developer to ensure that UVA is up and running, obviously by the deadline of June of 2020. However, we're going to use growth, and we're going to keep running with it and take anybody's suggestions that anyone has, as well as the suggestions of our first users. And with that, we're going to make sure that UVA is up to the fullest potential with the algorithm working as smoothly as possible.
Thank you.
Very well done. These guys stole all my questions. So, your passion for this clearly came through in your oral presentation as well as your written presentation. And it's quite evident. And you've touched us all. So I just want you to know that. I want to ask a follow-on question to one earlier, and that is expanding it beyond cancer. I think you're open to that idea, to do that. And then also a question around the name UVA. You want your product to really draw people in so that they understand what it is, and then they feel the same passion that you have made us all feel. Have you thought about working on the presentation for what this is in a different way?
So, yeah. So while I was working on this presentation, I was getting a lot of feedback about how it could be beneficial for other diseases. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure other people in the room as well have been impacted by more than just cancer, but other diseases as well. And seeing how people are impacted by that is unfortunately extremely critical as well. So by expanding UVA to other diseases would be amazing. And that is another goal in long term. And then as far as the name goes, just having that connection with the name and my father and seeing the connection with that name really, it just brought tears to my eyes, and it showed me what better way to name this company after somebody that was so inspirational towards him. So, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lex. It's a great job. It's a story that never gets old. Our third finalist is someone that hangs around the Centennial Center a lot. I see him a lot. Maxime Zabitsker. Max is a computer science and econ double major. And Max, a little fun fact here, competed as a finalist in the 2017 pitch competition for the same project that he is presenting tonight, called Aqua Salutum Technologies. Max was advised by pitch mentor Dan Rosenzweig, a Hobart 1983 grad, who is the president and CEO of Chegg. So won't you please welcome Max Zabitzer to the stage.
So let me take you to Uncle Jack's barbecue. He's been hosting the family's Memorial Day barbecue 6 years straight since he dug that pool into their backyard. He has a big 4K TV for Football Sunday, but man, that pool, that's his pride and joy. Aunt Joy and the kids love it too. Makes every summer much more special. And there's nothing they like more than inaugurating that pool on Memorial Day weekend. The backyard is packed, everyone's drumming out. Uncle Jack's on the grill, crisping up some burgers and dogs, and Aunt Joy's going hard on that mac salad and the Chardonnay. And that pool is loaded too. They have noodles and floaties and the crowd favorite, the diving board. Everybody loves that diving board. The pool's 8 feet deep. What's the risk? So the grown-ups are digging deeper into the beer cooler, and the kids are sugared up off of Coca-Cola and Skittles. And well, Luke just took his dive. And when Luke took his dive, he hit his head. Not hard enough to seriously injure him, but enough to stun him a bit. And so while the younger kids are playing Marco Polo in the shallow end, and Luke and the older kids are chilling in the deep end, chilling on floaties and noodles, Luke is still at the bottom. When Luke took his dive, he hit his head. Not hard enough to seriously injure him, but enough to stun him a bit. And Luke didn't make it. And by the time anyone noticed, I started Aqua Salutum because 1,020 people like Luke die drowning every year. 372,000 people a year. Friends, family, the people we love, the ones who inspire us. Our solution is AI Bears, the artificial intelligence buoy emergency action response system. It is built with Luke, you, and your water-loving friends and family in mind. A detection and alert system that can prevent drowning. AI Bears works simply. You just put it in the pool. That's it. That is all a customer has to do to keep their friends and family safe. The buoy system monitors swimmer behavior two ways. First, with sonar, just like how a dolphin uses echolocation to communicate underwater. Second, just like the fancy camera in your iPhone. The data they both provide are key. The sonar can assess and accurately pinpoint in real time the depth and location of every swimmer in a body of water. Everyone in the shallow end playing Marco Polo, and everyone in the deep end chilling on floaties. The sonar tells the camera where to focus. The camera can detect the subtle, different types of movement and lack thereof the drowning victims go through. The sonar detects Luke the moment he dives into the pool and tracks him to the bottom. That data tells the camera to focus on Luke's movement. The camera picks up Luke, taking in water, confused, immobile. The buoy takes in these signals of distress. We call this sensor fusion. This is where AI Bears springs into action since it knows what drowning looks like, recognizes it, and shouts an alarm to alert Uncle, Jack, Aunt Joy, and all their friends and guests to what's occurring. Our customers, our parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, our friends, and our neighbors. They're people like Uncle Jack and Aunt Joy that love hosting Memorial Day barbecues and want to keep those traditions alive because their loved ones are alive to keep them. 1 in 5 people that die from drowning are children. For every child that dies drowning, another 5 receive emergency department care for non-fatal submersion injuries. Among those 1 through 14, drowning remains the second leading cause of unintentional injury-related death behind motor vehicle crashes. The majority of our consumer market, 58%, live in states where pool usage is year-round. We initially target California, Arizona, Texas, and Florida. That's 3 million households. To grow strategically, we plan to sell 3,600 buoys in those first 5 years. That's less than 1/8% of the in-ground pool market in those 4 key states. This is a conservative sales forecast. However, we know it's going to be successful because the surveillance and security industry is rapidly growing. More consumers are purchasing devices like Ring, the front doorbell monitor, which has swept the nation in providing home security monitoring. Aqua Salutum brings the same feeling of security and protection to the backyard swimming pool environment. Our business model is a typical SaaS model, a monthly subscription of $396, which is cheaper than hiring a private lifeguard for an hour a day throughout the whole entire year. Based on the purchasing power and year-round pool use of our initial target market, residents in the 4 key states, this is a reasonable entry point that will generate the revenue necessary to become sustainable. These are projected costs to produce AI Bears and operate Aqua Salutum. However, as the volume of units increases, the cost of goods sold drops considerably with all hardware. With our SaaS model, we forecast we'll be profitable by year 4, and by year 5, we will have an annual revenue of over $23.6 million and a gross margin of 71%. I started Aqua Salutum January 3rd, 2017. 3 months later, I competed in the pitch. I gave a speech right here on this stage. Clearly, I didn't win. What I didn't have back then was working hardware. I didn't have a chief engineer, AJ McFarland, and I hadn't conducted an intensive market research project with Dr. Talmadge. And I also did not have a grant courteously funded by the Opel family to develop the prototype of AI Bears. But what I've learned in the process of obtaining those items, competing in other business competitions, authoring 2 papers, and building 3 iterations of our prototype, is that startups require a lot of attention. And I know that I have the components now that were lacking in 2017. Before, we initially targeted public beaches. And after talking to our customers and exploring where our customers are, we pivoted to the residential pool market. Yet there is still significant upside in the future. After Aqua Saloon obtains 3% of our initial target market and reaches economies of scale, we plan to expand into the commercial pool segment as well as the open water environment. With the $10,000 grant, we will be able to refine our hardware prototype and cover some of the costs associated with intellectual property. There were a lot of things our company didn't have 2 years ago, which includes the HWS support network. But one thing we've always had and will always continue to have is our clarity of purpose, to save as many people from drowning as possible. The best way that I know to do that with my skill set as a former lifeguard and computer science fanatic is to build AI bears. 372,000 people die every year because of drowning, and we have the technology to prevent drowning deaths. With your help, we can bring this product to market so that parents aren't burdened with the tragic loss of a child. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well done. And thank you for coming back. We appreciate you trying again. I'm going to go first so that I get my question in before these guys steal it. No. I'm trying to understand still how this works. So I understand it's a buoy, it goes in the pool. There are sonar sensors which detect either a child or an adult that is potentially at risk or perhaps goes to the bottom of the pool. I assume that the AI is going to learn, but as a homeowner who has a pool that sets this up, is my phone going to I have wild kids that are jumping around, people in and out, toys, everything. Is this thing going to go off in my pocket on my phone 100 times until the AI understands that the activity in the pool is not drowning, it's just the behavior of my children? How does that, can you explain that, how that works?
Yeah. So thank you for your question, first of all. And so part of training an AI, specifically this type of AI, requires professionals. So we are going to have lifeguards who are trained in detecting drowning to look over the data and classify the data as correct or not correct. So that's a great example of how a faulty product could work, and that is not the intentions of the research and development that we're conducting, to have a product that constantly pings your phone. And so the alarm will actually be through like an audio alarm at the site of the buoy, as well as integrated into other IoT devices that you have in your home, as well as like your mobile device and iPad if necessary.
Okay, so first of all, great presentation, and I think your command of the data and the analytics is outstanding. So kudos to you for that. So my question is really centered around you've kind of done a lot of work into your business model, and I'm just curious as to, in your research, did you reach out to any insurance companies perhaps to see if they would have the ability to offer reduced insurance rates for homes that had committed, homes with pools? Typically they have large umbrella riders and they have to pay for additional coverage because they have at-risk things in their home. And I wonder if an insurance company would offer the consumer savings on insurance that might help you justify or help you with the economics and the value proposition associated with the product. So that's one question. And I'm also interested in terms of why you ended up thinking that residential pools were your first and best market to go after versus commercial.
Okay, so to address your first question, with regards to, actually let me address your second question because that's fresh in my head. So we pivoted to residential market because most, like 75% of drownings happen when parent supervision is not there. And so our aim is to provide the most value to the residential customers, and also it's statistically proven that most drownings that occur with children happen at residential private pools. And could you just reiterate your first question, because the second question?
Sorry, yeah, it's my ADD. My other question was around insurance companies.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so in my research right now, we've found out that homeowners with cumulative surveillance systems have offered through their insurance companies to reduce their insurance costs. And so this is something that we're going to work with the Syracuse Innovation Law Center to further research, as well as the liability into providing this product to homeowners.
So I'm going to piggyback on that one. I'm wondering if you've done the research around the municipalities and those, I think it's the same insurance type risk mitigation that you could do, and that could really fund your engagement. So help us understand what kind of research you've done to that end.
Yes, so in the research that Dr. Talmadge and I conducted, we were able to see that it's over $2 billion worth of economic lost value because of people dying. However, municipalities, they may have lifeguards in beaches, but for specific pools, like a pool that you join at a YMCA or something, that's not with the municipality, that's private. And so were you asking more about the commercial pools or the beach environment as well?
Beach environment seems a little, has a little dissonance for me because I wouldn't know how you would really control the buoys, but, and you can go into that if you'd like, but I think just to kind of keep it as commercial pools that are either privately by a company owned or a town pool. Again, have you researched that?
Yeah, no. So we've researched integrating our system with a lifeguard emergency action plan. That was actually our original goal, to provide lifeguards as product as opposed to residential markets. And through the process of realizing who we provide the most value for as Aqua Salutum and AI Bears as a product, we selected the residential market. There are definitely need for lifeguards to have another set of eyes, but at the moment, parents, 5 minutes, they're gone, and a kid could drown instantaneously.
So I have a question. I was just looking online. Do you know the average cost of a swimming pool in the United States?
Yeah, it could range from $35,000 to $65,000, but if you have a large pool like the ones that our product is capable of, it could range all the way up to 100-something.
Depending, but they say, it says that the average is 21,000 in most middle-class homes if they can afford a pool. So are you saying that your device is $4,000?
Yes, so the hardware costs $4,000,
Right.
and the software is $396 a month.
Right, so you have to have an initial investment of $4,000 as a homeowner?
Yeah, so the product will cost $1,500, $2,500 in the first year, and then $1,500 in the second year. So it's a 2-year plan to pay it off. But we try to provide the most value to our customers, and there's no product on the market right now that is capable of the sensor suite's detection range and allowing homeowners to fully understand what's going on in the swimming environment.
But you still think it's economically viable at that price?
For people in higher tax brackets, absolutely.
But what about someone, I'm just asking, what about someone that has a pool and they live in
Yeah,
Geneva, New York, and,
So our goal long-term is to reduce costs as much as possible. And so having this high price allows us in the future to lower the cost for mid-sized pools as well as...
Those are above-ground pools, for
Yeah,
example.
so above-ground pool is a perfect example of something that we will do later on in our product development, because that is definitely something that a lot of middle-class Americans own.
Right.
But right now, for us to be sustainable and to grow as a company, we need to produce products that can detect a large pool.
Just lastly, you already have developed a prototype? It
Yes, we
seemed,
have a working
and
prototype
you've
for-
tested it, and it's,
Yeah, it's been tested in pool, lake environment, and it's looking good.
that's really exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Max. We're already on to our last team here. Kind of like spring break, it goes by so quickly, you know? Okay, so good work, Max. So our fourth team of finalists are two seniors. Garrett Brozowick is an economics major, and Mike Harris is a double major in econ and media and society. They were matched with the pitch mentor Kai Wan, a 93 Hobart grad who is a networking manager at HP. Garrett and Mike are the founders of TouchTab. And won't you please welcome to the stage for our final pitch presentation.
Garrett Broswick.
And I'm Mike Harris, and we are TouchTab. So I'd like to begin with a question for the audience. How many of you have ever signed and tipped on a paper receipt? Perfect. Of course, everyone has had this experience, no matter how old you are. I've been working at restaurants and bars every summer since I turned 18. And I've always been puzzled by the fact that we've been using the same paper receipt system in the service industry for years. Did you know mobile payment volume totaled around $10 billion in 2015? But that number is expected to grow to $190 billion by 2021. The number of in-store mobile payment users is expected to reach 75 million by 2022, with 72% being 18 to 24 years old. This growth in mobile payment in the last 5 years has been unprecedented. However, this growth has been mainly seen in retail, and that's why we're here today. With bar revenue reaching nearly $27 billion each year in the United States, the time has come to bring mobile payment to the hospitality industry.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to introduce TouchTab, a POS software integrated application for drinking establishments that allows patrons to display, track, and close out their tab entirely on their smartphone, eliminating the need for paper receipts.
Wait, Garrett, what's a POS system?
A POS is a point-of-sale system that bars and restaurants use to manage their food and beverage sales. Now, TouchTab is a two-sided platform. On one side are the patrons. These will be our users. On the other side are the drinking establishments. These will be our customers. Let's take a look at the problems for the patrons created through the use of paper receipts.
So first, the use of paper receipts increases congestion around a bar between the patrons looking to be served and the patrons simply looking to close out their tabs. Second, the current tab process runs the risk of a customer forgetting his or her card behind the bar. In our customer discovery interviews, we found that every drinking establishment has run into this problem before. And third, the business always provides a customer copy of the receipt for the patron. However, this is often discarded or even left behind. Now, Garrett, how are we going to solve these patron problems?
Oh, I'll tell you, Mike. By placing the payment responsibilities in the hands of the patron, TouchTab will diminish the crowd around the bar by removing patrons simply waiting to close out their tabs from the equation. A TouchTab is started by swiping a card and handing it back to the patron immediately. This eliminates the need to keep your card behind the bar and the potential risk of leaving it behind. When a patron closes a TouchTab, a digital receipt will be automatically stored within the application. Now let's take a look at the other side of our model for the drinking establishment.
So first, printing paper receipts throughout the night is time-consuming for the bartender, which takes away from that face-to-face interaction of serving new customers and ultimately generating new revenue. Second, a signed and tipped paper receipt left on the bar for too long is at risk of getting lost or damaged. This could lead to the bartender losing gratuity. And third, not only does printed receipts come with direct costs, it's an extremely wasteful practice. According to Forrester Research, we waste 1 billion gallons of water, 10 million trees, and 250 million gallons of oil each year in the production of paper receipts. In fact, paper receipts account for 1.5 billion pounds of environmental waste every year. TouchTab will solve these problems for drinking establishments. Here's how.
TouchTab will improve customer service by allowing bartenders to use the time they would have spent processing payment to interact and serve new customers. When a patron closes a TouchTab, there will be an option for a 10, 15, or 20% tip to be added to the total. This eliminates the risk of a paper receipt getting lost or damaged and ensures gratuity for the bartender. The use of paper receipts in the hospitality industry has been explored before, but this has been an extremely difficult market that no startup has been able to crack. Let's take a look at a couple of companies that attempted to penetrate this market and why they failed.
So TouchTab had 3 main competitors: Tabbed Out, Bar Bud, and Bar I. And these companies failed for the following reasons. They were not compatible with multiple major POS systems, which often forced drinking establishments to have to switch to an entirely new system in order to use the feature. These products also required bartenders to deviate from normal day-to-day operations and required a lot of staff retraining. But most importantly, all 3 companies went to market before 2012, which is years before mobile payment began its upward trend in the United States. These companies didn't fail for lack of user interest. A UC Berkeley study in 2016 found that 81% of surveyed respondents said that they would be likely or very likely to use a tab management mobile application. What sets TouchTab apart from our competitors is our ability to be integrated in multiple major POS systems and our strategy of removing payment responsibility without the need to retrain bartenders. Our furthest differentiator, however, is that mobile payment volume has grown 1,800% since our competitors launched. Therefore, the time to capitalize on this market is now. In addition to our mobile payment method, TouchTab will serve as a social media platform, restoring a sense of community and human connectivity. Users will be able to see where their friends are going on a night out, the number of open tabs at a bar to determine its crowd size, and any advertisements and promotions being offered by the bars they follow. So Garrett, where are we going to set up operations?
After careful consideration, we have decided that Boston is the perfect fit to initially launch TouchTab. Based on the criteria of our target drinking establishment, we have identified over 30 that would be a good fit. Now, Boston is also a good fit based on our target user, who are young professionals ages 21 to 34, who make up 39% of the city's population. Research also indicates that this is the most prevalent demographic who use mobile payments, and there are a large number of young professionals in Boston due to the resurging tech boom.
So TouchTab will generate revenue in 3 ways. First, there will be a one-time installation fee to integrate TouchTab into the bar's existing POS system. Second, we will charge partner businesses a small percentage of their revenue that is generated through TouchTab. Third, advertisements and promotions within the application will be free for partner businesses. However, they will have the option to purchase push notifications of their promotions that will notify users directly to their smartphone. Based on our pricing model and the criteria of our target drinking establishment, TouchTab is projected to become profitable after signing up 25 bars, which we intend to hit in our 2nd year of operation.
In order to make TouchTab a reality, our immediate cost will be $200,000 to develop the platform and implement our software into the initial POS systems that we plan to partner with. The $10,000 from the pitch will help jumpstart this campaign to covering this cost. We will generate the other $190,000 through grants that are offered to help small businesses grow, other business competitions, as well as reaching out to angel investors.
So we're here today not because we hate crowded bars and not because we like to get served faster when we go to them. We're here today because we see an opportunity to capitalize on a market facing unprecedented growth, create an attractive mobile payment option that the modern consumer will love, and bring a never-before-seen level of efficiency to drinking establishments by eliminating the need for paper receipts. We both intend to move to Boston after graduation in May and are dedicated to pursuing this venture to revolutionize the bar experience and make TouchTab the leading solution for mobile payment in the hospitality industry. Thank you.
Wonderful presentation. I think you were spot on with identifying that the payment space is really crowded. You probably 4 years ago, you started to see PayPal and Venmo really make penetration into platforms that people were really adopting quickly. PayPal was a revival for that platform. And also, you started to see a lot of the money center banks, Bank of America, I believe Citi does something. You see a lot of banks getting into that space as well. So it's very crowded. Have you considered, instead of building an app per se, building something that is much more of a utility? I'll use Venmo as an example, where you would have you would almost have that ownership of creating a point of sale service for a Venmo or a PayPal, so on and so forth. Have you considered that angle?
So I love the point about mobile payments being really crowded. The thing is, the POS space is extremely crowded as well. There are so many players, there are so many restaurants and bars that are competing for just different price points and trying to find the right fit. So we think that our status as a third-party integration for the POS system is a better model than trying to compete with like a Venmo or a PayPal, just because Venmo, for instance, is pretty much concerned with like peer-to-peer payments, and they're just breaking into that business space, in retail especially. But our essential goal is to create a mobile payment option that can really adhere to gratuity, which none of them really can't have like broken into that space yet.
So you referenced in your presentation, which was excellent, by the way, that bar owners will pay a certain percentage of the tab as a fee, right? And in your business plan, written business plan, that's 5%. Is that still the assumption?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that feels a little rich to me in terms of getting a bar owner to kind of just cough up 5% of their revenue for this app. And I wonder to what extent you guys have sort of tested that out, that type of price point in your market research, and what led you to think that 5% is something that the market will support? Because your idea is a good one, but the good ideas still have to make economic sense, right?
Sure.
Especially because you got a $200,000 development cost.
Sure. So we base that portion of our revenue generation off the fact that a lot of bars use promoters. And the standard pay rate for a promoter is a flat fee for the night, around $100 to $200. And sometimes they take up to 15 to 18% of revenue for that night. So their sole job is to bring in customers. And we think that our advertisement and promotional platform will eliminate the need to hire promoters. And our 5% that we're taking off of revenue is much lower than a promoter would make. And the idea is that as a percentage of revenue like grows, out of the bar's overall revenue onto Touch Tab, that percentage is going to drop significantly.
Great. Thank you. Great job.
So I thought this was super fun and creative, so great job. I also want to know where you were when I was in my 20s, but then I remembered there were no iPhones back then. So I just dated myself. So again, in your written presentation, you talked about you walk into a bar, you swipe your credit card to open your tab, and then it automatically sort of alerts the app that you're in this bar. You know, I have been in financial services for 30 years, and my sense is that credit cards are going away. Have you thought about how you will have your app interact with, you know, stepping into a bar without a credit card?
Yeah, so bars take credit cards because it's a pre-authorization for the gratuity, and we found that, yeah, you got it.
All right. So that's a great point. The idea now is to grow users by pretty much changing nothing. Just to start with the paper receipts, right? And so we like the idea of essentially swiping a card and saying, oh, do you want to just open a Touch tab instead of just like a regular tab? But I see where you're going with just you walk into a bar, you could check in essentially to the bar without having to pull your card out. That's on the roadmap. But right now, in order to grow users, we think that just based on like the development we're looking for, that would be like the easiest way to grow users by not really changing much to the process. But yeah, definitely we've thought about that.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds like you had a lot of fun during your market research. Now that you're legal age, or almost.
Yeah, we're both of age. So.
Ish, yeah. So my question has to do with the social networking aspect. So according to what I saw on the screen, it will say to your friend Steve or whatever, Kelly, that I am at such and such a bar, right? It's almost like a GPS kind of tracking of where you are?
It's not really a GPS tracking like how Venmo does it, where like you see all their payments and like who they paid. It's kind of like that, where you see who has tabs open at what bars, who've closed a tab at what bars, basically to anticipate the volume.
So then I have to get out my phone, and I'd also have to text my friends and say, come join me here. So this wouldn't in any way ever say, oh, Robert, join us or something. You couldn't do that.
One more time?
Okay, so this is going to show up on my phone, right?
Yep.
As a user,
Yep.
Correct? And it's going to have a picture of friends and where they are, right? But is there any way to interact with those friends on this platform so I don't have to then go start sending a text message? Can I just say, meet us in 10 minutes or something?
Yeah, in the social feed, there's, it was really small, I don't know if you saw, but there's like ability to like and comment on the different, like, I guess, places someone is. So if like so-and-so is at a bar, you can like and comment on that. So it does, I guess, eliminate the need to text someone outside of the application. You can just do it.
Which saves money, and
Yeah,
it's a key.
sure.
It's a key point. Thank you. Great job, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, Garrett and Mike, that was awesome. Okay, that concludes the presentation aspect of the evening here. So let's give all the finalists a big hand, okay? Okay, I got a couple things to cover here before you go. We have a short intermission here that's going to take place right out in the hall, so coffee and dessert. But we will return in 10 minutes for the flash pitch competition. But in the meantime, okay, I'm going to ask our judges to get with Amy and go off to the deliberation room where the decision will be made on who the $10,000 winner will be. Okay, so let's take an intermission and be back in 10 minutes.
Chris.
Again with the press.
I want to talk to you. All right. Well, you know what? Maybe I should Don't act too live. Hello. 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 And like I just hello. Like I'm out here like, hey Oh sorry.
Can you turn it off?
Okay, everyone, this is the 2-minute warning before starting the flash pitches. So everyone in the hallway, please come in. Kate? Okay, let's get started here. We have a little housekeeping stuff to read here, but the first thing I need is for everyone to go completely wild while I take this picture. All right, ready? No, good. Thank you for indulging me. I appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to start here in a minute with the flash pitches. But first, I'd like to really take the time to thank Matt Thomas in the back. Matt, can you wave your hand? Matt is our AV guy and all-around guy that's been working out the live stream. Okay, good job, Matt. So here's just one thing I want to talk about before we get started. There's a lot of stuff happening at the Centennial Center around entrepreneurship and leadership. Okay, we do a lot of stuff to augment the classroom learning. And leadership, and especially entrepreneurship, it's about getting into the game and doing it. Not about learning, it's about learning in the classroom for foundational elements, but it's about getting out and doing it like you see these people and these people doing right now to actually try it, potentially fail, which is great because you learn from that and then move on and do it again, okay? So there's a lot of stuff happening here. Sorry. A lot of stuff happening here in the spring that I want to tell you about, all right? So first thing is visit the Centennial Center website. Everything is up on there. So the things we have coming up after spring break, you want to check these out, okay? We are recruiting a new cohort to enter into the HWS Leads Certificate Program, okay? Apps are due April 1st. If you have an idea and are interested in doing customer discovery, which is a foundational element of entrepreneurship, you should sign up for our new National Science Foundation I-Core short course. Okay, this is going to be an awesome program. This is also in early April. You can find it on the website now and sign up. If you want to work with an alum or a parent as a mentor, so in the pitch, these guys, you heard about us talking about the mentors, and we have Bob Schmidt here was a pitch mentor. We have the same program, but not in the pitch, that'll take place, and it's called Mentor Connect. Okay, so if you have an idea, you want to talk to a subject matter expert, or just at least get some coaching from an alum or a parent, check our website out. That's a small amount of time for 4 weeks in the month of April. Finally, if you want to stay in beautiful Geneva for the summer, we have a great program called Summer Sandbox. All right? We have a lot of Summer Sandbox people. Summer Sandbox people, raise your hand. Yeah, look at them all. Great program. We stay in 9-week program here in Geneva. And you start up a company in 9 weeks, okay? You get free housing, and you also get paid. So it's not a bad, you get a stipend for a living. So it's a pretty cool program, but you're going to work a lot. So that's coming up. Apps will open up April 1st. So check out our website, check all those things out. Okay, let's bring up the flash pitch contestants. Okay, so probably not the best career move of my life, but I decided to do some kind of wild card program in the middle of our biggest night of the year, the pitch, right? And so hopefully this will work out. So for the flash pitch, I have 4 people here, as you see, who are going to pitch for 90 seconds each, okay? You just have to listen closely, and at the end, you're going to select a contestant that you think has the most interesting idea, did the most compelling pitch, and really important here, it makes you want to hear more about the idea. That's the idea here of an elevator or a short pitch, right? Afterwards, we'll all vote on our mobile devices for the winner, and we'll give you instructions on that. Everyone understand? Okay? All right, this is our first attempt, so give us feedback afterwards. Good. So our first pitch will come from sophomore Hannah Saylor, a writing and rhetoric major, and she will talk about Nuhi. But before you start, Hannah, can you test your microphone?
Hello.
All right, good. Hannah, let me get the clock going.
Okay.
Take it away.
Hi, I'm Hannah Saylor with a new product called Nuhi, meaning man-eating shark in Hawaiian. My family is big into surfing, and this past Christmas, my brother was surfing the Florida waves when a school of bait fish came swimming by. This was very alarming. In an effort to scare away the 2 bait fish that were seeking safety under my brother's board, the splashing of his hand, sounding like a panicked fish, attracted a 7-foot bull shark that was hunting nearby. Although my brother and the other 35 million surfers around the world leave the water unharmed, they may leave with a sense of fear after coming face to face with predators of the deep. Nuhi takes care of that. Nuhi is a lightweight magnetic board that can be easily inserted into your surfboard, adding an extra layer of protection. Sharks are negatively affected by the electromagnetic waves given off by magnets due to the small ampullae pores found all over their bodies. These pores help sharks see in murky waters. And when the electromagnetic waves come in contact with their pores, they cause the shark to go blind. The king of the ocean now becomes vulnerable, giving you safety as you surf. So whether you're surfing in Australia, the UK, Florida, California, or any other state or country around the world, Nuhi will keep you safe from the predators that lurk beneath you. Thank you.
All right, I just want everyone to give Hannah another round of applause for going first, okay? Okay, next up, junior Alex Cohen, computer science econ major, and he will present Gansett.
My name is Alex Cohen, and last April I started a company called Gansett Partners. Since then, I've learned to code, and I've put in over 1,000 hours of work to develop our application. We're an investment partnership that is using big data to analyze US equities. For some context, the most popular investment strategy today is a strategy called value investing that was invented in the 1930s and popularized by Warren Buffett. However, value investing is not working as well as it once did. Even Buffett's company, Berkshire Hathaway, has failed to outperform the market over the past 10 years. So a new strategy is in order. At Gansett, our thesis is that investment strategies break up into 2 camps, fundamental and quantitative. In other words, you're either immersed in traditional fundamental analysis and accounting, or you're obsessed with quantitative analysis and statistics, with little in between. Gansett is different. We're different because we're combining the best aspects of fundamental and technical analysis in order to better understand financial markets on a deep level. This year, I was honored to be a semifinalist in the pitch, and though I didn't make it to the finals, I've continued to work even harder on making my vision for Gansett a reality. I want to thank the Centennial Center, and I also want to congratulate all of the finalists and wish them the very best of luck. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you'll continue to follow Gansett as we go on to build the future.
Good job, Alex. Okay, third pitch. The senior, Gabby Milano, who is a philosophy major, and she's going to talk about the HWS History Home. Take it away.
Okay, did you guys know that when William Smith first came to this campus, the college, of course, there was actually a lot of hostility towards this college. So actually, Hobart produced a play called The Invaders, explaining how they felt about the colleges being here. Now, there's a lot of facts like this that get lost in translation in history, and I had to go digging into a book of Warren Hunting Smith to find these couple of lines explaining this play. Now, where are the perspectives of the people that were in this play, the woman that maybe watched it, maybe they weren't allowed to watch it? I have to go digging in the archives to find this. There is no place on campus where there displays HWS history in one place. Now, there is a place across from admissions that has been an empty space for the past couple of years. I want to reclaim and repurpose this space through doing the HWS Historic Home. Now, I can't do this alone. I need various perspectives. So I want to make sure this is a space and this process is a place where we can converse about issues concerning gender, race, and class, and how do we analyze and understand where we've evolved throughout the years, and how do we address the issues head on. Now, I will be doing all this archival research by myself, but myself, I lack perspective, so I need your help in putting this all together. This is an interdisciplinary project to help me understand how to display history and involve perspectives that get lost in translation. A woman like myself were once invaders at this school, and now I have the opportunity to share my ideas with you. I'm currently working with the college's administration to help manifest this, so please share with me your perspective. Thank you.
All right. Last but not least, we have senior Court Williams, Media and Society major. He's going to pitch his idea, Sky High.
The airline experience is not fun. Many of us love traveling, but often can't stand the crowded spaces, anxieties of traveling, and especially the crying babies that always seem to be on our planes. Sky High is here to innovate the airline experience. Sky High is an airport kiosk that sells legal medical cannabis products in order to reduce the stresses and anxieties that come with traveling. Our consumers will have two variations of our product to choose from, one being for the low-grade cannabis user and the other being for the more experienced user. Our Jet Pack will contain a THC micro-edible, hemp cream, and CBD mints, while the Jet Pack Plus will contain everything the traditional Jet Pack contains, plus a drink and another micro-edible. So you're probably wondering, what exactly are these products I'm talking about, and is this even legal in today's world? The answer is yes, with Canada being the first country to fully legalize the use of cannabis and the ability to fly domestically with cannabis. While initially starting in Canada, we will begin to broaden our horizons, with the US fully legalizing medical cannabis in 33 states, as well as fully legalizing the use of CBD and hemp. Our mission here at Sky High is to decrease the most common user flyer problems, such as stress, anxiety, joint pain, and much more. The cannabis industry is expected to grow nearly 3 times its size in the next 4 years and grow to $30 billion globally in 2019. Airports specifically are an uncharted territory for cannabis. With the Toronto airport alone seeing 90,000 passengers a day. With cannabis being in the foreground of U.S. policy discussions, it's only a matter of time before Sky High can venture into U.S. markets. Thank you, sit back, and enjoy the flight.
There you have it. Okay. All right. So you know what time it is. It's time to vote. So here's how you vote. The number at the top of the screen, you're going to send a text message to that number with your choice. You just simply text the number 1, 2, 3, or 4 to that telephone number. You have 2 minutes. Start now. Oh, and I need one of these too. I get a selfie. That's awesome.
Hey, it was you. I appreciate you. It was awesome. It was awesome. So grand prize winner, this is 20,000, right? That's what I heard.
It's like double.
Yeah, it's double.
We got it too.
It's double because it's grand
Less
prize.
amount of time. We have to do the same thing. Have you been like planning
No,
this?
no. Oh, yeah. Oh, ever since. No, I really thought of it in the capsule. Well, I started off with I started off as an airline. I started off as an actual airplane. Canvas product. And then I was like, oh, that's like way too much. And I was like, okay, I'll just do a kiosk in airports. Yeah, so. Yeah, no, I literally got it. Yeah, you're totally right. I love it.
Okay, we're at 2 minutes. Is everyone done voting?
Yes.
Anyone not done voting? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, voting is closed. The group in the back of the room is compiling the votes as we speak. Here come the envelopes, like the Academy Awards. So we have two groups. We have a runner, or two people. We have a runner-up and a winner. Okay. The runner-up. Hannah Saylor. Nice job. Thanks so much. Okay, thanks for coming tonight. We'll see you. Okay, the winner of the first ever flash pitch. Court Williams and Sky High. Okay, order. Okay, everyone, thanks for participating in that. Thanks for voting. That's the first time we've ever done that. It's really pretty cool. Okay, now it's the real time. Okay, not to minimize what you guys just did, but now it's the real time. Let's bring Amy back up on stage. I saw some judges come in, right? Bring Amy back up on stage and get to the pitch results. Are you ready?
We have one short item before we get to the big announcement. I do want to say quickly, though, that the staff at the Centennial Center has worked really hard in this event. So Ed and Kate and Dana, thank you so much for all of your hard work. If we could give them a hand. And Tyler, Lex, Mike, Garrett, and Maxine, could you join me on stage? In recognition of your participation in the final round of the pitch, the Centennial Center would like to reward your exceptional efforts over the last 6 months, and we'd like to support your continued development towards entrepreneurial leadership. These certificates I have represent $750. Congratulations on your work to date. We hope this contest only enhances your desire to pursue your ideas. And I'm going to invite Caroline to the stage, who's going to speak on behalf of the judges.
First of all, on behalf of myself and all of the judges, I want to say thank you for the invitation to come and do this. This has been really fun. What has struck all of us is just how impressive all of the finalists were. You know, we are in careers where we see presentations every day, and it was really wow to see all of this and how professional and how well thought out and prepared everybody was. So another round of congratulations to all of them. I want to start by saying that, you know, there's 4 judges, and we were asked to rank the pitches from 1 to 4 as a starting point in our deliberation. And every single group got a 1 by 1 judge. So you are all winners in our eyes. But after much deliberation, we felt that there was one individual who really met a lot of what was required for this pitch. Their presentation touched on the importance of emotion. They talked about safety. They talked about things that are very, that in a way where a consumer would connect. It was very viable. It was very, very well researched. It was significant in the sense from a social aspect, in that it's meant to save lives, and it was innovative. And we feel like this presentation was far enough along that we really thought it was a very, very strong performance. So, do we know so the winner of the 2019 pitch is Aqua Salutem.
Say goodbye to everybody, or are we just done?
two of you on one side. You're the middle of this. You guys are this way. Yeah, I got this. Come on. Step up. Shoulder.
Oh, I'm good.
So, do you have your cell phone? Take a picture of mine. You got my last business card, so. Take a picture of that, and last one today. So listen, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not sure if you're on there. I will do anything to help you along the way. Feel free. I know a lot of people. You have a great idea. And I love to see what you can. It shows a lot about what you're going to do. Appreciate it.
All right, Max.
I have my last one. Can you take a picture of this?
Absolutely. Yes, I do. Absolutely.